Hi everyone, Vega here, and in today's video, another in our Let's Talk series. We're going to look at the nearest stars and brown dwarfs, but in particular, the stars of Luhman 16, which is a brown dwarf binary pairing, and also another one that came to my attention in a recent video that you may have seen. This one, Kiilstofte 65, which I've not actually really noticed before. So let's start with the Luhman 16 system. A binary brown dwarf system in the constellation of Vela. Now, these are, as far as I'm aware, after Barnard's star, the closest stars to us. And they're not very big, obviously, being brown dwarfs. Let's have a look. So 16A is just 0.03 solar masses. Look at that luminosity. Barely even a star at all, really. Well, I mean, technically it's not, it's a brown dwarf. But it does radiate some degree of heat. Temperature 1350, so it's not that cold, really. Its partner is even smaller at 0.027 solar masses. Around one radius of Jupiter. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So they're roughly the size of Jupiter. The first one is smaller, which I believe tends to be the case with objects of brown dwarf size, that they strangely get smaller and more compact until eventually the nuclear fusion enables the star to push outwards. I think that's right, isn't it? Where is Luhman 16? Proximity to Alpha Centauri, located 3.57 light years from Alpha Centauri. Yeah, if I remember it rightly, they're roughly in the direction of Alpha Centauri from us. So if we were to look back, I think I did a graphic of that one at one point, we'd look back from Alpha Centauri at the sun, we'd be looking towards Luhman 16 as well. I think that's right. Let's have a look at proper motion. 2.79 per year is, of course, the speed it moves across our sky, which is how we know what I was thinking. It was radial velocity. Here it is, 23.1, which means it's moving quite quickly away from us. The Luhman's, when we have a minus in front, they're moving towards, so Luhman 16 is moving away from the sun. It says here the orbital masses of the two is about 25 years. There's the, so isn't that a great graphic? I presume that those are the two stars there. Don't know what these other ones, don't know what these other stars are in the field there, but that's an incredible graphic, isn't it? You can actually see the brown dwarf pairing revolving around each other. So about every 25 years, it says. That doesn't make sense, because if it's every 25 years, why are they revolving around each other so quickly? I don't fully understand that graphic. Should we follow the waltzing dwarfs, it says? Well, there you are. That's a bit of a mystery. If their orbital period is 25 years, then we shouldn't be seeing them revolving around each other that quickly. I don't fully understand that. It says here that as a 2013 paper, the system has a maximum age of about 3 to 4. I'm presuming GYR is billion years. Let me check what that is. 1 billion years. Yeah. So I don't know why they've put. I mean, I'm no mathematician. Maybe it makes it easier for large figures, but they are 3 to 4.5 billion years old maximum. So they're roughly the same age as the sun. Then that's right. So if the sun is 4.6 billion years, they're slightly younger than the sun. Although it doesn't seem that they're sure, because it says here the Very Large Telescope said that they're older than 120 million years. But what that means is, of course, if they do have planets, it seems to think that there aren't any planets in the Luhman brown dwarf system. Perturbations were reported suggesting a third body in the system in orbit around one of the brown dwarfs. They estimate the planet to likely have a mass between a few and as many as 30 masses of Jupiter. So perhaps a massive planet, although if there is a massive planet, as we've talked on this channel many times, there may be moons around that massive planet, and presumably the discovery of smaller rocky worlds is a lot more difficult anyway. But what I was going to say is that if they are roughly 3 to 4.5 billion years old, there's certainly been enough time for life to evolve on those planets it would certainly be a very strange life, and the planets would probably need to be very, very close into the stars to have any chance of surface life, otherwise perhaps underneath an ocean or something like that. Anyway, that's the Luhman system, which is a very interesting system indeed. Now let's have a look at that other system that we were talking about in a previous video, Gliese 65, also known as Luyten 726-8, which is a binary red dwarf pairing of 8.72 light years, so they're very close again into the sun. Let's count how many stars between us and them. So we've got Alpha Centauri, Barnard, Luhman 16Y, this is another brown dwarf pair, Wolf 3599, D21185, Sirius, and then they're the next ones after Sirius. Okay, so they are pretty close to us. And let's have a look. Their radial velocity is disappearing pretty quickly from us, so they're going away. And Gliese 65A is at 0.12 solar masses, with a radius slightly larger at 0.16 solar radii, as you'd expect, a very dim red dwarf star. I'm not sure what category they are, M5.5, so actually a mid-range red dwarf star. Both of them, M6 is also an mid-range red dwarf, so two mid-range red dwarfs in orbit to get around each other. Mass of, again, 0.12 solar masses, so this is for B. 0.16, they're roughly the same size as each other, aren't they, which is what you'd expect. Now, in a previous video, we found out that they're actually flare stars, which is perhaps why I've never really paid much attention to them. So if there are any planets in orbit around these stars, the chances of them having atmospheres that are conjunctive to life are very low indeed. It's also interesting here, isn't it, that in 31,000 years they're going to have a close encounter with Epsilon Eridani, which is certainly another star that could harbour life, for about 0.93 light years. So if there is any life in the Epsilon Eridani system, which I certainly couldn't rule out, it's definitely a very habitable star, they've got a problem in about 31,000 years because these two red dwarfs, and it says it may penetrate an Oort cloud, which could perturb some comets. The duration of the mutual transit of two star systems is about 4,600 years, so from about 35,000 years on, Epsilon and Eridani system, if there is life, it's going to have a very bad few millennia, full of comets raining down on them, perhaps, particularly with it being with Gliese 65 or Luyten 726 being a binary red dwarf system. So that is quite chilling. It's also actually, thinking about it, could actually affect us, really, couldn't it? Because Epsilon Eridani is one of the stars in our local area that is certainly going to be one of the first that we go to. It's a fairly bright orange dwarf, so it's perhaps even more habitable than the sun. At the moment, I think there's at least one planet I know of that's been discovered, but perhaps more in the system. So if we are looking for habitable Earth-like planets, Epsilon Eridani is one of our first targets. I would have thought, if not the very first target, but that might not be quite so great if it's going to, because I don't know when we'd arrive in the Epsilon Eridani system. I'd hope it'd be before those 31,000 years, but who knows? It may be that by 31,000 years from now, Epsilon Eridani is habited by human beings. Let's hope that that's the case. And if they are, then they're going to have to watch out for the Luyten system. Just before we finish, let's have a quick look at this system as well, because I don't propose to do a whole video on these brown dwarfs, because frankly there's just not enough information. But they're also pretty close to us at 7.43 light years, so slightly further away than the Luhman 16 brown dwarf system. You can see them moving across the sky here in very high proper motion, which tells us, of course, that they're near us. We don't know that much about it. It's not a binary pairing, is it? Well, Y is 0, 8, 8, 5. So it's just a brown dwarf on its own on this occasion, and it's a lot cooler than the Luhman system. So the chances of life in a planet in orbit around it are very, very low. At least on the surface of that planet, would be frozen wasteland very, very, very quickly. So there you go. There you are. Wise0885. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's any other slightly obscure topics, perhaps that may not warrant a video on their own, that you'd like me to talk about in the comments below, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to do a video on it. Take good care of yourselves, obviously, look after your friends and families, as always, really well, and I'll see you on the next one.